Guys, welcome back to the Jenks podcast. Going to make it really simple today. Today we got the receiver tiers episode. You guys have really enjoyed the quarterback one. Receivers today. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, so starting off, we'll give you our tiers really quick. First of all, we got elite. That's going to be the top of the top guys in the league. Then you got borderline elite, the guys that are pretty damn good, but they're not up there with the big dogs yet. The young stars, the upcoming guys, mid, just serviceable receivers across the league. Rookies, just all the rookies are going to rank them because we're not going to put them above other veterans, things like that. And then jail, you guys can probably guess who's going to land in that one. So Hammer, who you got first?
First one, we got A.D. Mitchell. We're going to put him with the rookies. He was a guy that blew up at the combine, kind of fell to the second round, middle of the second round, due to some medical concerns. But he could be a really, really fun pairing with Anthony Richardson, and they could be, crazy duo for music.
Yeah, they got a solid receiver squad down there. Then we got AJ Brown, a guy that, this is going to be a tough one. So he's either elite or borderline elite, right? So you kind of want to talk about his stats. Last year, 7 touchdowns. The year before that, 11 and 1,400 yards in both. I'm going to go ahead and put him in elite. I think until he kind of falls down from that little spurt of big numbers, I think he's going to be up there with the big dogs.
Yeah. Next, we got Amari Cooper. Past 2 years with the Browns, 1,000-yard years, especially last year. Past 2 years with quarterback situation kind of being a little, not consistent. 9 touchdowns in 2022 and 5 touchdowns this past year. Amari Cooper's not what he used to be. He had some dominant seasons on the Cowboys, and, he broke out on the Raiders as a young player, as a rookie. I'm going to put him – this is kind of tough. Borderline – he's either last on, borderline elite or he's, top and mid. What do you think?
I think very low in borderline elite. After you have all those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. You can put him in there for now. Yeah, and then we got – this guy's a star. Hammer and I have him on our on our fantasy team. I have him in my dynasty league. Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions, 1,500 yards last season, as well as 10 touchdowns, and he had 119 receptions. This guy, you can feed him the ball. He has great yards after the catch. He can, he's just a good route runner. So he can take hits, make people miss. He can do a little bit of everything. I'm gonna put him in elite. Honestly, I think it's safe to say that you can put him above AJ Brown, not because of necessarily him being better than AJ Brown, but because he is the wide receiver one. The Eagles, Donovan Smith kind of gets some receptions from instead of AJ Brown, whereas Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's him and then a few other solid guys, but nothing crazy over there. So he gets the majority of the plays.
Yeah. Next we have Brandon Cooks. Interesting one right here. He's a guy who bounced around the league. Grace the nose, started with the Saints, kind of broke out there, went to New England for a year. Pretty sure that's the year they won the Super Bowl, right? No, they lost to Philly that year, actually.
Yeah, he got knocked
Then he went
out.
to the Rams, had a couple good years then went to Houston. Now with the Cowboys. He's kind of just been I think he's tried to be a number one, wasn't his best. I think he's just a really good number 2 receiver, but he is getting older. He's entering year 10, so I'm going to put him at mid.
Yeah, he's a serviceable guy. He gets you some good chunk plays every year. Next, we got Brandon Ayuk, a guy who's fighting for a larger contract right now. I think reports say he wants $30 million a year. So I'm pretty sure St. Brown got $28 a year, and he wants that kind of money, but a little more. He wants to get $30 million a year. Here's my take. I don't think. Where would you put him? Would you put him borderline elite or young stars? Because he's a young player, but I just don't know if I'm putting him in that elite or borderline elite tier at this moment.
I'd say borderline elite because he's entering that second contract. I think young stars are for guys that are on rookie contracts that are
Yeah, I'd put him above Amari Cooper in borderline elite then.
Yeah. He's near the top in borderline elite. He's a stud. He's good.
If the 49ers didn't have so many weapons, he'd probably be doing a lot more. So
yeah. Next we got Brian Thomas Jr., first round pick, went to Jacksonville Jaguars. Going to be a fun pairing with Trevor Lawrence. Find out if he's the quarterback of the future, get him some help. Really talented guy. He's going to be raw though. He's really got to develop. I'm going to put him with the rookies. I don't know if I'd put him above AD Mitchell though. Is that a hot take?
I'd put him above AD Mitchell, but I mean, either way, it's pretty fine. They're rookies, so you have no clue what's going to happen with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say based on landing spot, I think AD Mitchell's gonna come in and he's like that number 2, number 3 guy. There's not gonna be a lot of pressure on him. He was a second round pick. So I'm gonna put him behind AD Mitchell.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. Then we got a guy who's kind of been on a weird path the last few years. He got caught for gambling, banned out of the league for a year. Then he went to the Jaguars last season, had 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, but he also dropped a lot of passes, a lot of touchdowns. Didn't have the impact that people expected him to have. And now he's going to, I believe it was the Titans that he signed with. So Calvin Ridley, this is tough.
Big contract.
So here's my opinion. I don't think Calvin Ridley is like all that. I really don't. I've never been a huge believer in him. Even in his biggest season, it was only 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. And then I don't know. He's not someone that I've ever felt was crazy. I'd put him at top of mid or bottom of borderline elite. That's my take on Calvin. I'm not a big fan of his.
Which one you going?
I'm going to go top of mid. I don't think he's better than Amari.
I would do the same.
I would take Amari in it over him all day, every day. So
yeah. Next we got CeeDee Lamb. I love CeeDee Lamb. He's a stud. I had him this year in fantasy, one of my other leagues. This past year had 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's awesome. Like he's awesome. I'm putting him elite. I'm going to put him above St. Brown and AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Like he's top 5, top 3. Maybe he might be top. No, he's not top 3. He's like 4. To me, he's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, he's top 5 for sure. Yeah. You can't even argue that one. He's definitely awesome. Then you got Chris Godwin. He's a star, right? He is. I mean, he's been paired up with Mike Evans basically his whole career. So he's getting receptions, yards, touchdowns, all thrown to Mike Evans instead of him. But he still had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. 5 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns in the last 3 seasons, respectively. I'm going to put him at the bottom of borderline of elite. I'm going to put him above Amari Cooper, though.
Sure. I like that. Next, we got a St. Grayson's team, Chris Olave. He's going to his 3rd year, so he's on the rookie contract, young guy with not the best quarterback quarterback play. He's had 2 1,000-yard years, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. He's not really that touchdown machine yet. 9 total in his career. I'm going to put him probably he's going to be in the top young stars.
Yeah.
Good player. I think we all just want to see like some good quarterback play with him, and he can really ascend to that borderline elite status.
Yeah, he had like 3 chapters last year during the season. Like in the first few games, he had a few amazing catches. Then the mid part of the season, he didn't do anything at all. And then the final part of the season, he started to come alive again. So we'll see if Derek Carr starts playing well. Next, you got Christian Kirk. In my opinion, he's the definition of mid in receivers. He can play for wherever he goes to, but he's not anything crazy. He got paid a shit ton of money. Didn't understand that. I'm going to put him below Calvin Ridley, above Brandon Cooks in mid.
Next, we got Christian Watson, Packer, going to his 3rd year like Olave. Dude's a touchdown machine. He can't really stay on the field, though. Some injury problems. But it seems like they kind of found the root of the problem. It's always been his hamstring. So apparently his right hamstring is like 20% stronger than his left hamstring. And that's causing these injuries. How does that happen? Well, basically, with past injuries, they never really just rehabbed right. So his hamstring's always been stronger. So when he's going full speed and braking and all that, his legs just can't handle it the same, basically. And the same injury keeps on happening. But he's awesome. If he could play a full year, I think you're looking at someone that's like a Pro Bowl receiver. Probably misses it, but like that level, because he really is a touchdown machine. End of his rookie year, he was awesome. He's got 14 touchdowns. That's the most in his class, and he's basically played a full season with the 2 years combined with injuries. So I'm going to put him young star. He's definitely kind of towards the bottom of the list because he hasn't played that full season yet, and we want to see the full version of Christian Watson. But I mean, from what we've seen, like the glimpses, like he's a stud.
If there was a tier, if we made one that was like injury prone, or injuries holding them back, I would put him and the next guy in it, honestly, just because they're two guys that, like, I mean, obviously the guy that I'm going to talk about has had a season where he's like been the bona fide wide receiver one, but injuries are definitely holding them back. Next, we got Cooper Kupp. Obviously, he had the 1,900-yard season with 16 touchdowns, absolutely lit up the league. And then the last 2 seasons, injuries are kind of holding him back, right? And the fact that they also drafted Puka Nacua. They had a bunch of other guys over there, Tutu Atwell, a few other weapons. This is kind of tough to rank him because, yes, I would say he's elite if he was in that same 1,900-yard season, everything like that. I'm going to put him at the top of borderline elite because right now, injuries, things like that, just kind of holding him back.
Yeah, definitely. Next, we got Courtland Sutton, receiver for the Broncos.
I like him.
He's good. Definitely has best season of his career, 700 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's never really been that touchdown machine until this year. He had 10. He's only put up 1,000 yards once in his career in 2019. He is 28, so like he's kind of little, he's moving towards like the end of his prime, the past his prime. And his prime wasn't that great. A lot of that was due to just terrible quarterback play. I'm going to put him at mid, and I'm going to put him.
Get him from above Calvin, man.
You think so?
He's a better receiver than Calvin Ridley. He catches everything that's thrown to him. I mean,
I put him after Calvin.
That's fine. It's your guy. It's your guy, man.
I put him after.
That's fine by me. I mean, you just look at him. I feel so bad for him because he hasn't had that great quarterback that would help him a lot. So we'll see if maybe this year Bo Nix and like the right system helps him out. Next, you got Curtis Samuel, who just made his way over to Buffalo. I'm going to put him in mid. I'm going to put him below Courtland Sutton. This is a guy that I think can be very big.
You're going to put him beyond what?
Mid, behind Courtland.
Really, above Christian Kirk?
Yeah. I'm not a Christian Kirk guy, but I think Curtis Samuel in the Bills. So here, we didn't clarify this yet. We're doing this for the upcoming season, right? So the careers, things like that don't really matter. We're doing it just for this upcoming season.
Well, they do matter, but this is.
I mean, yeah, but we're
put them heading into the next year.
Yeah, so I'd put Curtis Samuel above Christian Kirk based on being on the Bills, things like that. Just having a good location for him to succeed in Buffalo.
Cool. Next, Davante Adams. I love Davante, stud. Many years with the Packers, many years of domination. Past 2 years with the Raiders hasn't been pretty, maybe. I mean, for his standards, but I think you look at the numbers even. First year with the Raiders, 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns. Last year with the Raiders, had 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. Like, he's still putting up pretty damn good numbers with 100 catches in both years. Nothing like the numbers he was putting up in Green Bay. But, I mean, I think we're talking elite. And right now, I'd probably put him elite. I put him in between St. Brown and A.J. Brown. I think that's fair. I think right now, St. Brown, the numbers he's putting up, he's young. That offense just designed around them. The Raiders is still, it's a mess. We don't know what's going on with quarterback. New offensive system this year. So we'll see how that pans out. But I put him right now in between St. Brown and A.J. Brown.
I'm surprised. I see. Honestly, I would put him below A.J. Brown as well, just because.
Hey, I don't know about that.
Listen, it's debatable. It's definitely, you can put either way, but I think because of Davante Adams, his spot in that offense with a iffy quarterback situation, right? Then you also got to take in the fact that they just drafted Brock Bowers, adding another weapon into that group. So I don't know how many receptions he's going to be targeted wise. Just like last season, we obviously saw he kind of turned it on at the end of the season, right? We'll see if he's able to continue that. Either way, I'm fine with the ranking. I don't really mind it. Next, you got D-Hop. This is a tough one because obviously DeAndre Hopkins was elite for his whole career. Now you look at it in Tennessee, they just added Calvin Ridley, so the receiver room is going to be a little bit more full. And he only had 1,000 yards last season. He's getting up there in age. He's got to be like 32. I'm going to put him at the top of mid. I don't think he's borderline elite or elite anymore. He's getting older. and he only had a few breakout. He had a few games where he just broke out, but other than that, he had a few really mid-average games. So top of mid, I think, is the right place for him.
Next, we got Deebo Samuel, different kind of receiver here. Dude's built like a running back. His receiving numbers don't blow you away, but when you add that in with his rushing numbers, man, he's a pretty talented player. 28 years old, he's getting older. He's definitely like now, he used to be that number one option on that offense, and now he's kind of 3-4. McCaffrey's number one, then it's Ayuk, and then it's Deebo and Kittle. And the thing about Deebo too is he is injury prone. He takes a lot of hits, does a lot of the dirty work. He's definitely not in shape as like some of like an Ayuk, like some of these other receivers. I watch a lot of Niner games. He gets banged up a lot. They use him a lot of motions, this and that. He can't stay in the game for the full game, for like a full drive. He's elite. He's borderline elite. Where would I put him though? I'd put him behind Ayuk, above Chris Godwin.
Wow, I would have put him below Chris Godwin, but I don't mind that either. I think
I put him above just because his skill set is different.
Yeah, because he can do a little bit of everything. That's perfectly fair. Next, you got Devontae Smith. Obviously, AJ Brown and him are a huge duo in Philadelphia, and I think that Devontae Smith has had 3 straight very solid years as a receiver, especially at his age. So I'm going to put him above Deebo Samuel. I'm going to put him below Brandon Ayuk. I think that's kind of the spot. But I'm honestly debating taking Brandon Ayuk and putting him above Cooper Kupp, just because.
Nah, not yet. Not yet.
But I think these rankings are looking pretty solid so far.
Yeah, I like him. All right. Next, we got Deontay Johnson, longtime Steelers receiver. Now he's with the Carolina Panthers, 27 years old, has good years with Pittsburgh. I do think his production is going to take a dip this year in Carolina. Yes, he may be the number one receiver, but that offense, Bryce Young, a lot of question marks. I'm going to put him.
I think there's a spot for him, Hammer.
I'm going to put him mid. I'll put him behind Hopkins.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You like that above Ridley and Sutton?
Honestly, I'd probably put him below
Ridley, right?
Yeah.
Or Sutton too.
Maybe Sutton. I'd put him below Sutton too.
Me too. Yeah, I was kind of
thinking just the landing spot that he's in at the Panthers, things like that.
27, 28 now.
Obviously, he had 0 touchdowns in 2022. Had a gap in between his first touchdown last season, and then he started scoring some more. But being on the Panthers, things like that definitely hurts him. Yep. Next, you got DJ Moore. I mean, he's a part of a 3-headed monster now in Chicago. So that it's not the best scenario, obviously, as a fantasy wise, but as a team, that's great. I think DJ Moore obviously was in that probably elite, top of the borderline elite class last season. I'm going to put him in the borderline elite. I'm going to put him above Cooper Kupp. I am.
Wow. Okay.
Because the way he's playing puts him there. I think Cooper Kupp, obviously, he has Puka Nacua over there, who I think he's going to take the receiver 1 spot from Cooper this upcoming season. And Cooper hasn't been able to stay healthy, so that's why I'm going to put DJ Moore above him.
Next, we got DK Metcalf. Explosive dude. I mean, since he came in the league, he's got 900 yards or better in each year. Never had 100 catches in his career. Touchdowns are good, pretty consistent, 7, 10, 12, 6, 8. So he's right in that, 6, 8 kind of range right there, 9. This is tough. I'm going to put him borderline elite. He's got Lockett. He's got JSN around him. He's got Geno throwing him the ball. This is tricky. I'm going to put him. Would you put DK above Godwin? You cool with that?
Yeah.
I think that's right for him.
Yeah. Here, Hammer, let's add a tier below young stars. It's just as good. Because we're going to have, I feel like we're getting into a bunch of guys in that borderline elite tier. You know what I mean?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So like good. And then I'd say we bump Chris Godwin and at least Amari Cooper to there, right? Because they're good.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah. I feel like that's right? Like Chris Godwin and Amari, they're good, but they're not borderline elite or elite. Like I mean, they're just not in that conversation.
Okay, that's fair.
Next, you got Dontavion Wicks. He's on the tiers for whatever reason.
Because he's a GOAT, that's why.
Okay.
So pink for good. Yeah, I like that.
And I think like obviously he's a solid receiver, and I think he's on the come up for the Packers. I was talking with Hammer. They have probably the deepest receiver room in the outside of like the Bears or one of those teams. Their receiver room is extremely deep, and it's full of young talent. That's what you want to see in a receiver room, things like that. Dontavion, I mean, there's not really a tier for him here, just based off of like where he's at in his career. You know what I mean? Because he's not like a Chris Olave, a Christian Watson yet, but he's not.
I just put him. I don't know. It's kind of tough.
Like the bottom of young stars, just because he's on this list.
He'll be the bottom of it. He's good though. I mean, go watch his tape. He's got some Devontae Adams to his game.
Yeah. I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't put him above Amari or Chris Godwin yet. Or would you add Hammer? Would you add a tier? I guess it would only be a couple people and just say like too young to tell, like below, like mid, like just kind of because we don't know. Too young to tell.
Yeah, we could do that. You want to do the next person while I'm doing it?
Yeah, sure. Then you got Drake London, a guy on the Falcons that I've never felt is amazing. I think he's like people say he's a young star, right? That's what because of his talent and his skill set, things like that. But the last 2 seasons have been pretty damn average. 2 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 866 yards, 905 yards. Nothing crazy in an offense where they should be able to succeed, but he hasn't had a quarterback. For this upcoming season, I'm going to put Drake London. I'm going to put him at the bottom. I'm going to put him in between Chris Olave and Christian Watson.
Okay.
Because I think, this upcoming season with Kirk Cousins coming in, he's going to have a bigger season, that most likely, obviously. So you got to put him there.
Next, we got Garrett Wilson. This is an interesting one. I mean, young stars, but him with Rodgers this year, I think he's going to be like borderline elite.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's young, and we could put Chris Olave up there too. But for right now, I think we keep young stars. I think we keep him in young stars, but I think we put him on the top of the list.
Yeah, it's him and Olave are going to be the top 2 guys in that.
But tier. Wilson, I think Wilson's going to explode again. Get him in fantasy again. Hopefully, Rodgers doesn't get injured, but he's going to be like that dude in fantasy again. Like he was a fun pick last year because you were thinking, oh, he was next to Devontae Adams. I see it happening again.
Who knows, maybe Malachi Corley. Maybe Malachi Corley steals some catches from him.
That's your boy. You love him.
I know. I love that guy. Anyways, next we got George Pickens. Finally had that breakout season last year with 1,140 yards, 5 touchdowns, 63 receptions. Now with a guy like Russell Wilson coming over who likes to air the ball out, and George Pickens being a guy that likes to go big or go home kind of plays, it's a good spot for him. I'm going to put him within the young stars tier as well. I'm going to put him above Drake London for this upcoming season though, because I just think he's in a great spot with Russell Wilson coming over.
Okay. Next, we got Jahan Dotson going into his 3rd year, 500 yards in both of his first 2 years with the Commanders, 7 touchdowns and 4 touchdowns. Bad quarterback play. Let's see if that changes with, McDaniels stepping into that role. Dotson, where would you put him? Would you go mid or you put him young star?
Mid. I don't think he's a young star.
Yeah, I was going to say. I put him mid. Where am I going to put him? He's probably towards the end. I put him, might be at the bottom.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what? Too young to tell.
I'm fine with that too.
David Wicks, because he hasn't had a good quarterback play, and hopefully this is the year that starts.
Yeah, he takes a leap. All right, That's fine. Next we got Jamar Chase, elite. Now the question is, who do you put him above? Right? I think right now I'd probably.
You put him 1 or you put him beyond CD?
I'm going to put him behind CD just because CD doesn't have like a number 2 next to him. And that obviously changes if T. Higgins, if he gets traded, things like that. But I think that's a fair spot for him. Health has been a concern as well for the last couple seasons. So
yeah,
I'm going to put him 2nd.
Sounds good. Next, we have Jameson Williams, really exciting player for the Lions. Dude can fly. He's been banged up, been very injury prone. But when he has the ball in his hands, when they do like an end around, jet sweep, play action, throw it deep to him. He makes big time plays. He had a big end around touchdown on the opening drive in the NFC Championship game against the Niners. This is another guy. I'm going to put him in, too young to tell. Yeah. And I'm going to put him top of that list ahead of Dotson.
Yeah, I think he has
and Wicks.
Good skill set for there. Yep. Next, we got JSN. Another guy's too young to tell. Had an average season last year. List. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'd put him there. I mean, one season with a very solid kind of packed receiver room. Didn't really have a great spot, but he still had 4 touchdowns, 600 yards. So
next, we got Jaden Reed, Packer. He was a dude that a lot of people thought he was a reach in the second round. Didn't really know who he was. Dude came in, set a bunch of rookie records for the Packers, was like Jordan Love's guy in the slot. Really exciting player, good player in fantasy. I'm going to put him in young stars.
Yeah. I think he's above Christian Watson in my opinion.
Would I put him above London or not?
Do you think he's the receiver 1 next year, Tamer? Or do you think he's like receiver 2?
I don't think there is no such thing as a receiver 1 for the Packers.
Then you got to put him behind.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I've been telling Hammer multiple times, I think Jaden Reed is the Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Packers. Hammer hates the comparison, but like that's kind of, he's like that slot guy that can do.
No, let him just be Jaden Reed. Let him just be Jaden Reed.
Whatever.
Forget about St. Brown.
Who's next?
Waddle.
So he's going to be either borderline elite or young stars. He's only played 3 years. He's kind of in that range where he's going to be a contract extension. I'm going to put him borderline elite.
Yeah.
Because he's played 3 years already. I'm going to put him above Debo. Below Devontae.
Debo?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Next one we got Jordan Addison. He's going to be in young stars. Really, really good rookie year. Ooh, this is tough. Where am I going to put him? JJ McCarthy this year.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
I put him in that George Pickens, Drake London range.
Yeah.
I'll put him above London. He's got Kirk Cousins this year.
I'd put him below.
I put him below. Yeah. All right. Addison goes in between London and Jaden Reed.
And then Justin Jefferson, bona fide receiver 1 in the league. Put him at the top, Hammer. There's no discussion needed. He is the best receiver in the league.
Yep. Next, we got Keenan Allen. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Is he borderline elite? Or do you think he's kind of fell off? Like, would you put him at top of good?
I'd put him at the top of good. Just because of his age,
I think he's getting up there. You know what? He's going to be
packed receiver room.
2-3 on the Bears, right?
Yeah.
He's not above DJ. I put him at good. Top of good.
Yeah. I think that's fine.
Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman, I'm going to put him at the top of rookies. Out of the 2 that are there so far, he's in the best spot. Possibly the receiver 1 for the Bills. Not much a rookie receiver could ask for more than that. So
yeah,
I think that's where he belongs.
Lad McConkey, rookie for the Chargers, top of the second round. I'm going to put him in between A.D. Mitchell and Brian Thomas Jr. I like it with Herbert.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot. Then you got Malik Neighbors. I'm going to put him at the bottom of rookies just because of his landing spot. I was sitting there on draft night, and as soon as he got picked, it's just like instantly.
I mean, he's better than all these guys, but the landing spot just—it's
like the poor guy. Like he just gets landed with Daniel Jones, who is the worst starting quarterback in the league out of all the guys who have played more than 3 years. So
yep. Next we got who's up? I'm up.
You're up, yeah.
Next, we got Marquise Brown, new receiver for the Chiefs. I called this offseason move. I said he was going to be a Chief. I'm going to put him at good, and I'm putting him at the bottom of good.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
Or would you put him at mid? Put him at mid? Nah, I'm going to put him at mid. I'd put him.
With Patrick Mahomes, I'd put him there. I think about it. Like, I think it's a good spot for him. Next, I think that's Marvin Harrison Jr. next. I'm going to put him at the top of the list.
For rookies, yeah.
He's receiver 1 on the Cardinals. Kyler Murray is a solid quarterback. He's in a great spot for himself and the system he's in. So yeah, I think he's top of the rookies.
Next, we got Michael Pittman Jr. This is a tough one. I'm thinking borderline elite, end of the list. Or do you put him top of good?
I put him at the top of good.
Top of good, right? I mean, I'd still take DK over him.
Here's
I mean,
why.
he was putting up crazy numbers last year.
Yeah, and I mean, the reasoning there is because he hasn't had like more than 4. I mean, he had 6 touchdowns 3 years ago, 4, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, 1,000 yards, basically. That's top of good, bottom of borderline elite level. So I think that's fine. Next, you got Mike Evans. He's borderline elite. He's not elite at this stage in the game. I'm not going to put him there.
You got to put him top though.
Yeah, he's going to be up there for sure. I 100% agree with that. Let's see. Who do we put him above? I'm going to put him.
I put him above Devontae Smith.
That's it. Yeah, I was going to say above Devontae, below Brandon, possibly even above Brandon. But I just think Brandon Ayukes. Yeah, I think that's fine.
We like that.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
I don't know. I put him up. I think I put him above.
If we put him above Brandon, I think I put him above Cooper too, just based on like what Cooper has done the last few years. He hasn't really.
Yeah,
Mike Evans gets you.
I mean, I'd even put him. I put him top, dude. Evans is a beast. I mean, you look at his numbers. I put him over DJ too.
Yards, like 13 touchdowns.
I put him over DJ too.
Yeah, let's put him at the top. Like I feel like the age is kind of like a hindering factor there for me. Like, yeah, he's old. He's just consistent. So I think you got to put him.
He just produces year in and year out. Next, we got Mike Williams, new receiver for the Jets. Really, really injury prone. I'm going to put him at mid.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him second in mid. I'm going to put him behind Hopkins.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, because when he's healthy and everything like that, he has big games, but you never know. Next, you got Nico Collins. Put him at probably in the middle of borderline elite with CJ Stroud. Like
borderline elite. I put him in young stars. No,
he's older though. I think.
No, he's not. Nico's young.
Oh, he's played 3 seasons. So basically, I mean,
that's still either a rookie contract. I put him in good then.
Top of good.
Unless you want to put him in young stars. You want top of good? I don't know. I don't know if he's better than Pittman.
I mean, he's better than Pittman. I mean, at 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns last season.
He's not
same quarterback.
Pittman put up better numbers, and he didn't have a quarterback.
Stephon Diggs is there now. Stephon Diggs is there. They have tanked that. Yeah, put him below Michael Pittman. And I guess that's a good reasoning, though. Like, he's not going to have the same year he had last year with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, but Pittman put up disgusting numbers. Do you put him above Keenan Allen, though?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. He's more explosive.
Next, we got Puka. Wow, what a rookie year. Total stud. Young star. I mean, I think you put him atop of the list, no?
Yeah. And here's
top of the list.
People are going to be mad we don't have some of these guys in the borderline elite, but the way we've been having it is like these top 3 young stars could be in that borderline elite.
But they're still in that rookie contract, early beginnings. So I don't know.
We're keeping them all in that young star thing, just ranking them on their own. Yeah. Who's next, Sam? Rashee Rice. Welcome to jail, buddy. Get down there. Yeah, put him in there. All right.
Who's up? Are you up? I'm up.
You're up.
All right. Rome Odunze, number 9 overall pick to the Bears. Oof. I'm gonna put him. I'll put him 3. Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm going to put him behind Harrison Jr. and Coleman. He's going to be above AD Mitchell. I'll put him at 3 for rookies.
Yeah, because, I mean, he has a better spot.
He's going to come in. He's going to come in. He's not going to be like, demanded upon like a lot, right? He's going to come in and be that number 3 receiver, get to learn from Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. Like that.
Next, you got Stephon Diggs, a guy that I'm going to put towards – I kind of want to put him below Waddle, maybe above Waddle. But I just think last year you saw he had a regression.
You wouldn't put him above Devontae Smith? I put him like above Devontae Smith, behind Ayuk maybe.
He's in that like 10 to 15 range of receiver.
He's got CJ Stroud. Yeah.
It's either behind Brandon Ayuk, Devontae Smith, or Jalen Waddle. Let's put him below Brandon Ayuk just because of he's the receiver one, with CJ Stroud, so it's kind of the right spot for him. The other guys, the receiver twos, things like that. So
yeah, I like that. All right, next, Tank Dell. I'm gonna put him at Young Stars. I'm gonna put him. This is tricky. He's coming off an injury.
Yeah, bad one too, broken leg.
I know. Do you put him? I'd put him like above or behind Christian. I don't put him above Jaden.
No, I'd put him above Christian, but below Jaden. I think that's a good spot for him. Next, you got T. Higgins, a guy that has had solid years every single year of his career, looking to get traded from the Bengals, possibly if he doesn't get paid. He's out of it, so he's out of Young Stars now.
I put him good.
I put him top of good.
Top good. You put him above Pittman?
I'd put him.
I put him below
Pittman. Just because he's had 2,000-yard seasons. That's it. 600 yards last year. Got hurt. 5 touchdowns. I think that's a good spot for him.
I agree. Next we got Scary Terry. This is tough. Borderline elite or good. He's had bad quarterbacks. Put up pretty good numbers. He's got the talent. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Jaden Daniels is over there now.
It's another tricky one. I know.
He's receiver one. I think he's above mid, but he's got to be in that, like,
I put him good, but I put him
mid range somewhere in there.
You think he's mid?
I think he's probably below.
I think he's good.
No, I'm saying in good, but like the middle of it.
I put him above Nico. No. You want to put him after Allen or before?
Maybe before him. I think that's a good spot, right? Because I mean, you think about it, like Nico Collins, like had 1,300 yards. Terry McLaurin has had 1,000-yard seasons every year, but hasn't had a breakout season, which he like is capable of. Next, I think that's Tyler Lockett, right? Tyler Lockett. He's either bottom of good or top of mid. But he's getting up there in age. Jackson Smith and Jigba is looking to take his spot. I put him at the bottom of good.
Bottom of good?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm cool. Yeah. Put him above Hopkins. So tricky. Yeah. Receivers are so tricky. Next, we got Tyreek Hill. I'm going to be putting Tyreek Hill at 2. I'm going to put him at 2. Dude's a game changer. Puts up disgusting numbers. And he's just a game changer.
I think he's got maybe 1 or 2 more seasons in him.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna be there for long, but yeah, I think for this season you got to put him there. Next, I believe the next guy was Xavier Worthy. Second to last is gonna be in rookies. I'm gonna put him above A.D. Mitchell, below Rome Odunze.
Going to the Chiefs.
He is on the Chiefs, but Xavier Worthy was a guy that I wasn't a huge fan of. He's a speedy guy, so that works out for the Chiefs. That's kind of what they like, what works there. But his size,
I put him above Rome. That's just me.
You think?
I don't know, with the landing spot.
I think landing.
Like he's gonna produce more than Rome year 1. That's a fact. He's gonna, especially with Rice out too, and Rome's gonna come and probably be the third guy.
Rosh is gonna be out probably 2-3 games at least, depending on however the league processes that. Yeah, put him above Rome. That's fine. He'll probably be receiver 2, below Marquise, unless they add another receiver, which they should, but they haven't yet. So,
and then last we got Zay Flowers, awesome rookie year for the Ravens. He's going to be a young star. I'm looking at that London Addison range.
Yeah.
You put him above or after Addison?
I'd put him above Addison because I think he moved up.
Put him above London?
No, not with Kirk Cousins over there.
Yeah. There you go. And now you're buying into the Kirk hype. I told you.
Don't want to, but
boy.
Yeah, I think this is a solid list. So let's read off. I'll just read off like the top 15 guys. So we got Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra. That's a top 5. That's a solid top 5. Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Ayuk, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Deebo Samuel, and DK Metcalf. And then just our young star group that I think is going to be up through like the top 5 guys: Puka Nacua, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, George Pickens, and Drake London. That's probably going to be our top half of the league number 1 receivers. Everyone else is kind of, receivers are very subjective. You can kind of put them in a little bit of a range of places. Yeah. So
like receiver, like even like, you got guys in good, like Michael Pittman, T. Higgins, Nico Collins. Like you could put them borderline elite. It's tricky. You got guys in mid, like Hopkins. I don't know. You could put them in good. Like it's just, it's just where they're at in their careers. What do we think they're going to be like in this upcoming season, with their new teams?
Yeah.
It's tricky.
There's a lot of guys. So it gets kind of mixed up. It's tough.
Tricky.
Anyways, that'll do it for, I think, our receiver tiers. So I think, Hammer, are we doing running backs next? Or
yeah, we're going to do running backs next. That list is definitely going to be more clear, better. It's not going to be as many people. There's not as many as many good running backs as there are receivers. Receivers, you got like 2-3 guys each team. Running back, you got 1, maybe 2 each team. So it's going to be a different list, better list, more clear. But yeah, we had to add some tiers during the video. So yeah, it was tricky. But like I like the list. There's definitely discussions and debates to have. But
yeah, embrace debate. Yeah, like last episode, our quarterback tiers, like a bunch of people commented we're hating on Brock Purdy being so high. And it's like, how are you still gonna hate on Brock Purdy after what he did last year? Like I don't understand that. But obviously, if you disagree with anything here, comment down below. We love responding to them. I love responding to them and starting some debates in the comments.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's go and do it for this episode. Hope you guys have a good one. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jenks Pod. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at Jenks Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We want to hear it. Comment those hot takes. Comment what you disagree with and what you agree with. We want to hear it. Mm-hmm. So we'll see you guys maybe later this week or next week.
Yeah, we got to see. We might have a guest on this week. We're not sure. So possibly next week, if not.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, take it easy, everyone.